Okay, let's unpack this a bit. When you hear placebo effect, what usually comes to mind, for a lot of us, I think, is something pretty quickly dismissed. Maybe it's all in your head.
Right. It's not real.
Exactly. It's not a real treatment. We kind of brush it off as an illusion, maybe a quirk of medical science.
Yeah.
But what if that view, that sort of dismissive take, completely misses something? Well, something truly profound, something that could really change how we understand healing itself.
It's fascinating, isn't it? How often that term placebo effect carries this hidden feeling of deception, almost like it's a trick.
Yeah, like a con.
And that really distracts us, I think, from its incredible truth, which is tangible, measurable evidence, real proof of the mind's direct influence over our body's functions.
Okay.
So this deep dive, it isn't just about debunking a myth. It's about revealing that it's far from an illusion.
Yeah.
It actually points towards a need for a vital reassessment of how we approach healthcare.
Absolutely. And we're not just talking about, wishing something works and then maybe feeling a tiny bit better psychologically.
No, not at all.
We're talking about scientifically measurable physiological changes, real things happening in the body. Think about shifts in brain activity, hormone levels, even our immune responses, things that challenge our basic understanding of how we heal.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're diving into some pretty cutting-edge research today and some findings that are, frankly, quite surprising. So let's start by challenging that common, maybe oversimplified interpretation. For too long, the placebo effect's been seen as just a psychological response, right? To the idea of getting treatment.
The illusion of treatment.
Yeah, like you think you're getting something helpful, so you kind of feel better, but that barely scratches the surface, does it?
No, it really doesn't. At its core, the placebo effect is actually a powerful testament. Proof, really, of the mind's ability to create real physiological change.
Okay, real change.
Yeah. It's a vivid demonstration of what you might call self-directed healing, or maybe mind-mediated recovery.
Mind-mediated recovery. I like that.
And the neurobiological evidence, it doesn't just hint at this. It confirms it. Positive expectations can lead to genuine, measurable changes in brain areas linked to mood, how we perceive pain, various bodily functions.
So it's not just a feeling.
It's not a trick. It's a profound manifestation of this really potent connection between our mind and our body.
So what does this actually mean then for our bodies day to day? How does this mind-body dialogue, how does it play out?
Well, it seems our brain, through its incredible complex network of neurons and chemical messengers, it can transmit what you could call healing messages.
Healing messages from the brain.
Yeah. And these messages, they're often prompted by our positive expectations, our beliefs. They can influence different body systems.
Like what kind of systems?
Well, imagine your immune system becoming more active, for instance. Or maybe your stress hormone production, like cortisol, actually decreasing, all based on the information, so to speak, that your mind receives.
Wow.
It's almost like we have this inner pharmacy, responding to our thoughts and beliefs.
Okay, now here's a distinction that honestly completely changed how I understood the placebo effect when I came across it in the research. It highlights this critical concept that clarifies where the placebo effect really, really shines. It's the difference between disease and illness.
Ah, yes, that is absolutely crucial. Such an important distinction.
Can you break that down for us?
Sure. So disease refers to the biological dysfunction, right? The abnormality within the body, the pathophysiology, the broken part, if you like, that doctors diagnose using tests and scans.
Okay, the medical diagnosis.
Exactly. The focus of the traditional biomedical model. Illness, on the other hand, that's the subjective experience. It's your personal, lived experience of feeling unwell. Right. It includes physical sensations, psychological distress, maybe social impacts. It's really that first-person perspective of being sick.
And it's so important to grasp that these aren't always the same thing, are they?
Not at all.
You can have a disease, like the biological problem, without actually experiencing symptoms or feeling ill. Think of someone with, say, early-stage high blood pressure who feels totally fine.
Right. Or early cancer sometimes.
Exactly. And conversely, you can definitely experience illness, feeling unwell, tired, maybe in pain without doctors finding a clear diagnosable disease. Your feeling might stem from various things beyond just a single biological issue.
Precisely. And this distinction leads us straight to a key finding from the research.
Okay.
The scientific evidence strongly suggests that placebo effects are primarily effective in ameliorating illness.
So helping with the feeling of being sick?
Yes. They excel at relieving symptoms, reducing distress, making people feel better. They don't seem to directly cure or control the underlying disease by fixing its core biological malfunction, generally speaking.
Gotcha.
So, for example, large studies, meta-analyses, have shown that placebo treatments often significantly reduce subjective outcomes like pain compared to getting no treatment at all, even if the underlying cause of the pain isn't fixed by the placebo itself.
Okay, so now that we understand what it affects, the illness experience and the where this mind-body connection, let's dive into the how.
Right, the mechanisms.
What are the specific factors, the biological pathways involved? It's clearly not just some vague positive thinking, is it? It often starts with something deeply human, doesn't it? The interpersonal side.
You're absolutely right. A patient's own beliefs and expectations are huge, but also the entire therapeutic relationship, the interaction with the doctor or therapist, it's incredibly powerful.
How so?
Well, research consistently shows that how a healthcare provider communicates matters immensely. How they explain a treatment, whether they show empathy, how confident they seem. All of this can profoundly shape a patient's expectations.
No.
And creating that positive context, that feeling of trust and hope, can significantly amplify the placebo effect. It's like preparing the ground, making it fertile for healing.
And it's not just about feeling better because someone was nice, although that definitely helps.
Of course.
Our brains are actually doing some pretty incredible things chemically, aren't they? It's utterly fascinating learning about the neurobiological evidence. Like, one major discovery was that pain relief from placebos. It's often mediated by the release of endogenous opioids.
Yes. Our body's own natural internal painkillers. Like morphine, but made by us. Groundbreaking insight, definitely. And the mechanisms, they actually extend even further. We see significant stress reduction linked to placebos.
Less anxiety.
Yes, decreased anxiety, improved mood. Some studies have even found that lower baseline anxiety levels actually correlate directly with experiencing greater pain relief from a placebo.
Interesting.
And expectation alone can even alter levels of cortisol, which is a primary stress hormone. So the placebo can effectively calm the body's fight-or-flight response.
So our mental state, our expectation, can literally change our body chemistry, our stress levels. That's truly amazing.
It really is. And another key player seems to be dopamine.
The reward chemical.
That's the one. In conditions like Parkinson's disease, for example, using brain scans like PET scans, researchers have observed significant endogenous dopamine release in specific brain regions. When patients receive a placebo they expect to be beneficial.
Wow. Real dopamine release.
Real dopamine release. It suggests the brain's reward systems and motor control systems are directly getting involved. It's not just a psychological perception of feeling better.
Okay.
And then there's also the element of conditioning. Pavlovian conditioning, essentially.
Associating the doctor's office with getting better.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Experiments have shown, for instance, that a visible injection of a painkiller, even if it's the same substance, can lead to greater pain tolerance than if the injection is hidden from the patient's view. Your brain learns to associate the ritual, the needle, the whole context with relief. So even if you later get saline injected in the same way, your brain anticipates relief and helps create it.
Okay, let's move from the opioids, dopamine conditioning, to seeing this in action. Let's look at some concrete examples from the research that really illustrate the breadth of this effect across different conditions.
Certainly. Pain, as we mentioned, is probably the most widely studied area. It's a classic model.
Right.
For instance, there's famous research involving pain after wisdom tooth removal. People who responded well to a placebo for pain relief. Well, their pain reduction could actually be reversed by giving them naloxone.
Naloxone. That's the drug that blocks opioid receptors, right? Used for overdoses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the fact that naloxone blocked the placebo pain relief strongly indicates that their brains were indeed releasing those natural opioids we talked about. The placebo effect was biologically real and mediated by that system.
That's such a powerful demonstration. It's not just feeling better. The underlying biology changed. What about more serious neurological conditions? You mentioned Parkinson's.
Yes, Parkinson's disease offers some of the most striking objective evidence. Studies have shown that a significant minority, maybe around a sixth of patients, experience measurable motor improvement with a placebo.
Measurable improvement.
Yes, objective measures of movement. And crucially, as we discussed, this improvement is linked to that dopamine release in the brain, seen on scans.
Okay.
Even more astonishing, perhaps, are findings where patients with deep brain stimulators implanted for Parkinson's. They showed improved motor performance simply because they believed their stimulator was switched on.
regardless of whether it actually was on.
Regardless of its actual state. Their expectation, their belief alone, triggered a measurable physiological response, improving their movement. Some studies even found expectancy effects, producing outcomes almost comparable to actual brain surgery for Parkinson's in some measures.
That is truly mind-blowing, the belief itself mimicking a major medical intervention.
It really highlights the profound connection, doesn't it? We also see glimpses of this in aging and cognitive function.
Oh, how so?
Well, one study involved healthy seniors. They performed better on cognitive tests after taking a pill they simply believed was a cognitive enhancer, even though it was inert.
Just the belief boosted their scores?
It seemed to. Now, in conditions like Alzheimer's, early trials have sometimes shown modest, short-term cognitive improvements in placebo groups. But there's a crucial finding here, too.
What's that?
Research has found that the ability to experience these cognitive placebo effects can actually diminish or even disappear as frontal lobe function declines in later stages of dementia.
Ah, so that suggests a clear neurological basis is needed for the effect. It's not magic. It requires certain brain circuits to be working.
Exactly. It points to the brain mechanisms underlying this capacity. And briefly, other areas show effects too, like reports of placebo groups having fewer new lesions on MRI scans in multiple sclerosis trials. Also, we need to move past thinking of placebos as simply inert or totally nonspecific. They aren't inert. They clearly activate real psychological and neurobiological processes, as we've seen.
Right, the opioids, the dopamine.
Exactly. And their effects aren't purely nonspecific either. They are highly context-dependent. The effect varies based on patient expectations, the specific condition being treated, the whole therapeutic environment. It's quite nuanced.
And then there are the ethical considerations, which seem pretty significant, especially when we talk about using something in practice that relies so heavily on belief and expectation.
Absolutely. The idea of intentionally using something like a placebo, an impure placebo, perhaps like a vitamin presented as something more potent, it raises immediate questions about transparency and informed consent.
Yeah, how do you do that, honestly?
Exactly. If a doctor were to prescribe something they know is medically inactive for the condition, how do they communicate that to a patient in a way that respects their autonomy, maintains trust, but still potentially harnesses these beneficial effects? It's a really complex ethical tightrope.
It sounds incredibly tricky.
It is, and one that requires very careful thought, clear guidelines, and completely open communication.
So looking forward then, what's needed? What's the next step to truly understand and maybe even ethically harness this power? Where does the research need to go?
Well, the overarching message from the sources and from researchers in the field is really a call to action. We need a much more comprehensive theoretical understanding of the placebo effect, a better model for how it all works.
Okay.
This means more rigorous research, especially what's called translational research. Studies that bridge the gap between findings in controlled lab settings and what actually happens in real-world clinical practice with actual patients.
Seeing how it plays out long term.
Yes, understanding the clinical implications, the long-term effects, how it works across diverse medical conditions and diverse patient populations. We need to dive deeper into the biology, too, really mapping out which brain systems, which neocortical and subcortical pathways are involved and how.
To go beyond just thinking positively.
Right. To maximize potential benefits in an informed way. The ultimate goal, perhaps, is to figure out how we can ethically sustain and maybe even reinforce these natural self-healing responses within the framework of good healthcare.
Yeah.
And also, importantly, how understanding placebo responses can help us design better, more efficient clinical trials for new drugs.
Well, this deep dive has certainly reframed things for me, and I suspect for many listening. We've gone from maybe seeing the placebo effect as this mere illusion or a nuisance in clinical trials to understanding it as a really powerful demonstration of the mind's profound ability to influence the body's healing processes, and not just by wishful thinking, but through tangible, measurable biological changes.
It really is a testament to that connection, which I think raises a really important question for all of us, both in healthcare and just as individuals.
What's that?
If our minds truly possess such a profound capacity for influencing our well-being, for this kind of self-directed healing, what ethical and practical steps should healthcare and maybe society take to genuinely integrate and leverage this innate human ability?
Moving beyond just treating the disease.
Exactly. Moving beyond only treating the biological disease to truly supporting the whole person and their illness experience. How do we harness this power responsibly?
That's a really powerful thought to leave everyone with. How does this potential reframing of the mind-body connection change your own understanding of health, healing, and perhaps the incredible power residing within yourself? Something to definitely mull over.